Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. It's a doubleheader from Turner Field in Atlanta, the final day of the regular season. It's the St. Louis Cardinals and the Atlanta Braves. With Jim Hayes and Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Let's hope we get this all wrapped up here today. We know the Cardinals are headed to postseason, and it truly has been a team effort to get to 100 wins.
The 9th time the Cardinals have gotten 100 wins, and this is a team that has been known for being resilient, but it's not known as a team that's got an MVP candidate. Only 2004, the only other year, by the way, the Cardinals did not have an MVP in that season. This year, we're not sure who it's going to, but it's not going to be a Cardinal.
Fun matchup here in game number 1. John Lackey will get the start for the St. Louis Cardinals, his final tune-up before the playoffs get here. And Shelby Miller, the former Cardinal, going for the Braves. It's the Braves. It's the Cardinals. It's the first of 2 on Fox Sports Midwest. reminds us that National League Championship Series tickets are on sale now. So don't miss a minute of the postseason action at Busch Stadium. Tickets for potential National League Championship Series home games to be played in St. Louis are on sale now. Get yours at cardinals.com/postseason. We wrap up the regular season with a doubleheader from Turner Field. First pitch comes your way next. Make a plan to make it home. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. And along with Jim Hayes and Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. 67 degrees. Cloudy and cool and windy. But that is a great sight. Stephen Piscotty, after such a scary moment the other day, is in the lineup. He'll bat second. Matt Carpenter will lead it off, followed by Holiday, Hayward, and Peralta, then Moss, Wong, Cruz, and Lackey. Great to see him back. And great to see this guy. Shelby Miller's had a good year and a tough year. Both.
He's had a tough year because he hasn't had any run support, but that's going to be one of the storylines. Piscotty playing certainly a storyline today. Miller against Hayward is one of the storylines. Two guys who are traded for each other and have had good seasons. Of course, Shelby's numbers depends on how you look at him. He's got a lot of losses, but he's had so little support. He's really struggled at the end of the month of September.
You take a look at his year and you say, well, do wins matter? Do losses matter? Some believe no. I'm not one of them. Some do. They say, well, Shelby Miller's a good case as to why you don't look at it that way. Second pitch in the game, and it's lined out to second. Carpenter the first out. Michael Bourne is in left, Maben in center, and Markakis is in right. Garcia, Simmons, Castro, Siriaco along the infield. LaVarnway is behind the plate. And a nice round of applause for Stephen Piscotty. This will feel like a home game for the Cardinals. A lot of Cardinal fans.
And hard to believe less than a week ago when Stephen Piscotty ran into Peter Borges in left center field in Pittsburgh, a moment that we're not going to forget anytime soon. And just amazing that he's back playing. He's been hitting, Dan, the last couple of days, but now back in the lineup, and good to get some real life action here before the Cardinals start thinking about what their roster is going to look like.
All right, Rick Horton, this is a Major League game, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, we got the stadium. The lights are on.
It's on MLB at Bat right next to me, so yes,
They're wearing big league uniforms.
Yes.
Here's an 0-2.
I can't wait to hear where you're going with
Well,
this.
my question would be this. Final game of the season. It is a meaningless game in many ways in terms of records and individual performances and whatnot. Are you going to see these teams swinging away in the final couple of games and, guys saying, hey, it's almost like we said the other night, a spring training game?
Well, there may be a little bit of that. There may be a little bit more aggressiveness. That often happens the last couple of games of a season. But guys don't like to get bad habits no matter when it is. And the Cardinals especially. You don't want them to start jumping at things that are not their best pitches to handle when they're trying to prepare for the next level. I mean, it's all about timing, so you don't want to throw all that out the window. Mike Matheny saying before the game, we're going to play this game to win. Now, there may be decisions that he makes with next week in mind.
There's a line out to right. Nick Markakis is there for out number 2. In steps Matt Holliday. The Cardinals had that everyday look and lineup prior to game 2 last night. Then the rain fell, and Mike Matheny, if we did play this game, was not going to take any chances with a wet surface with guys like Holliday and Hayward and some of the other regulars.
You and I discussed before the game that what we're seeing here this afternoon in game 1 might be the lineup in game 1 of the playoffs. Very possible.
Be interesting to hear the ovation for Jason Hayward coming up. That's chopped off the plate and a foul ball. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and nobody on. Holliday hitting .282 with 4 home runs. He's driven in 35, and there's a look at Hayward, the longtime Brave, on deck. And the 0-2.
Probably a little anticlimactic for Jason Hayward when you think about the weather issues and the fact that it's the last game of the season. The Braves fans clearly have not shown up in droves today, and it may be a little disappointing for Jason coming home, because certainly the fans here loved him.
And a strikeout of Holliday, so 1-2-3 inning for Shelby Miller. John Lackey to the mound when we come back. Followed by Daniel Castro. He had a big game 1. Then Nick Markakis, Adonis Garcia, Cameron Maben, Pedro Siriaco, Andrelton Simmons, Ryan Lavarnway, and Shelby Miller, the pitcher, batting 9th. On the mound for St. Louis, John Lackey, and what a year he has had.
He has had a standout season. He's up among the 4 or 5 guys in the National League who have the biggest numbers in terms of earned run average. You add quality starts, you add innings pitched, and he's right up there with the big boys.
They have let the fans that were in the upper deck now move to the lower portion of the ballpark, and so a lot of fans are moving as we speak. And we also have a lot of fans that are disguised as seats.
And the fans that already had the seats down there will soon be headed up to the ticket window and wanting a refund for buying the more expensive seats.
Yes. John Lackey, first pitch strikes, a lot of strikes throughout his season. Efficient, gets after it. He's been fun to watch this year.
Bulldog.
What do you think? Game 1 starter for the playoffs?
I would say so.
Who would have thought that when you acquired John Lackey for Joe Kelly and Alec Craig? One, that Craig would be in the minor leagues. Kelly at one point sent to the minor leagues, and that John Lackey turns into what could be an October ace for St. Louis.
I think the Cardinals got John Lackey for the immediate short term, and the short term got longer. And who knows how long it may be beyond this.
1-2 pitch. And a fly ball lifted down the right field line. This is trouble, and that ball is off the wall. Handled by Piscotty. And it's a leadoff double from Michael Bourne. As he cranks a hanging breaking ball off the wall and right, looking for his first home run.
Bourne hasn't hit that well as a Brave, but is hit into some bad luck this season. Got a hanger there from Lackey. Bourne, by the way, a huge influence on Jason Hayward when Hayward was a young player. Bourne showed him the ropes, taught him how to be a professional, and I think Jason Hayward would give a lot of credit to Michael Bourne for being a mentor for him.
And a pitch that's taken high and outside by Daniel Castro.
Expect the same number, more or less, of pitches that we saw from Jaime Garcia in game 1 of this series, maybe 4 or 5 innings, somewhere around there for John Lackey as a tune-up.
Lackey throws a strike to Castro, 1-1 the count. Well, if you look at how it plays out, normal day's rest for John Lackey Friday night against either Chicago or Pittsburgh. I asked you this the other day. Who do you want to see? Chicago or Pittsburgh? Either way, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, I think even more so my answer would be Pittsburgh right now. Chicago on the fun factor. So as a fan, yes. But Chicago's red hot right now.
Yeah.
And I think they've got a feeling going that who knows how far that could go.
That is the beauty, by the way, of the play-in game, if you will, where Jake Arrieta, you would see him one time, presumably, and that would be it. And that's a big factor when you talk about the Chicago Cubs. He's been unbelievable, especially in the second half.
And they're not as deep with their starting pitching as the Cardinals are. And starting pitching is why you win the marathon. Baseball season's a marathon. We are in the final few yards of that marathon today. And then it becomes the sprint after that. But if you've got to have the marathon still has to matter. And that's why how you handle the wild card, I think, is important. You can't give too many advantages to the wild card team. Otherwise, you take away the value of the marathon.
Runner at second is Michael Bourne. And a 1-2 pitch from John Lackey. Little tapper to the left side. Lackey off balance, and what a play. John Lackey with one of his best defensive plays of the year as Mike Matheny was holding his breath.
Oh, I was too. I was too. Not just because Lackey's 36 years of age, and not just because the field's wet, but because that was a hard play to make. Going to his right, really his play or nobody's, and then the plant, the throw. Outstanding.
I don't know what your keys to the game are. You were asked by the great Keith O'Brien and his assistant Keith Oberman, who came up here, and they said, Ricky, give us your keys to the game. And I was screaming at you. Health. There is one key to this game. Health. Come away, walk away, be healthy.
That's always a key. That's a key to every game.
So you're shooting down my keys.
Well, I'm going to add it as the third key. Is that all right?
Yeah, I feel better now. A fly ball out to shallow left that drops in for a hit. And a run will score. That's Michael Bourne. No need to get hurt in this game. Holiday, if that's the playoffs, I would say makes that play. He's tiptoeing near the line. So what's at stake? The top storylines in the game. The American League West, the Rangers blew a situation yesterday against the Angels. They lead by 1 game. Angels looking at the wild card. Houston involved with both. Kansas City and Toronto, home field advantage. And Pittsburgh and Chicago also looking at home field advantage as well.
So interesting for the Houston Astros. That ball gets away, and arm slot's a little different for John Lackey. He's throwing a little more sidearm, and that one just pulled across his body to his glove side, and I'd like to see him get that straightened out. But think about the Houston Astros. They could, by the end of today or tomorrow, they could be the league champions. They could be the first wild card or the second wild card, or they could be out. All 3 of those could happen.
The 2-0. Ground ball that's hit to second and handled by Colton Wong. Jim Hayes has been outstanding all season long, and Jimmy joins us here for game 1. What do you have, Jim?
Right back at you. Just a little bit about what Mike Matheny was saying about this doubleheader. He said, sure, we want to avoid injury. That's number 1. Sure, we'd like to get guys work so that they can get ready for the postseason. But he said, make no mistake about it, we're trying to win these games. He just thinks you can't pull off at this point in the season. You want guys to go out and keep doing what they're doing, and that was winning ball games.
And we'll see if that's the case. I liked seeing the reaction of Lackey with that bloop to left field. It's still John Lackey out there. He was not happy at all.
Yeah, you get a big leaguer between the lines and he's going to compete. And you don't get to this level. You're caring about performance. And there's a perspective of this game that we all have as people following the game and as fans. But the players, when you're on the field, that's the way you're geared. You don't want to let up and say, well, I'll just kind of walk through this game, because then I might walk through the next one or the next one. You better not do that.
The Cardinals will have an off day tomorrow. Tuesday, those with injuries or that need to work out will come to the ballpark. Wednesday will be a mandatory workout for the team. Thursday as well, and Friday we get it going. 1-2 pitch. Soft liner into right center and a base hit. And it's 2-0. Maben, a 2-out RBI base hit to bring in Markakis. Lackey screaming out there on the mound.
We could hear him yelling up here after this hit. So a couple of bloop hits in this inning, and Lackey not happy.
Here's Pedro Siriaco. That's fouled back. You think about things that are on the line in this particular game as the runner goes, and I'm sure Shelby Miller would tell you this is a pretty important game for him going into the offseason, as we get a look at the Cardinals defense with Holiday, Hayward, and Piscotty in the outfield. Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, and Moss on the infield. Tony Cruz behind the plate, and that's presented by Dobbs. 24 consecutive starts without a win.
Well, your earlier question about do wins matter, they don't. It's not the only thing, but it is a thing. They matter. Yes, they matter, but it's somewhere in the middle of there are things that you can't control, which I think one school of thought would be wins don't matter at all because there are things you can't control, like your team's defense behind you and your team's offense on the other side. But it matters some. There's no question about it.
Lackey picks up his first strikeout. The Braves pick up 2-0 after 1 inning of play in game 1 of the doubleheader.
You've been waiting for this, Dan. Our Toyota keys to the game as Hayward gets a nice round of applause. Number one, for John Lackey to finish strong and healthy, because that does matter. And the second key is for final impressions to be made. We'll see a lot of players today. We want them to make good final impressions. They're going to matter, and they need to stay healthy while they make those impressions.
2 healthies and an impression. I'm in. Count me in.
You see how we combine that?
Yeah, that was good.
Good.
Well, what do you think of this trade? Hayward for Shelby Miller. We talked about it all season long, and now the two face off here in the final day of the regular season.
Been good.
Yep.
I think the Braves are happy. I think the Cardinals are happy. I think it all hinges on this at bat, frankly.
This is it.
Yes.
This is it.
Base
Comes
hit.
down to all right here.
Base hit, good deal.
Rick, it's been fun working with you this year in our final season together.
Are you telling me that was not brilliant analysis?
The 0-2
Oops.
and a strikeout of Jason Hayward.
Knew it was a bad deal.
Oh, yeah. What were they thinking? Good deal on both sides.
You bet it was. Well, the Cardinals got the offense they needed, and we talked about the offensive MVP. So hard to pick who that is for the Cardinals. You'd say Matt Carpenter. You could say, boy, the combination of Grichuk and Piscotty, Johnny Peralta. But Jason Hayward's been right in that mix after a slow first month of the season.
Peralta a couple of days off, and he pulls that left side, and they still may get him. What an arm there by Andrelton Simmons as that scooted through Garcia, and it's an error on the Braves' third baseman, and the Cardinals have their first base runner of the day.
Garcia's kicking the dirt in front of him, but he has just been a nightmare defensively for the Braves. They're trying to figure out where to play him. It's not third base, but right now that's where he's playing, and that's error number 10 in very limited number of games.
So it brings in Brandon Moss. He had a nice game 1 to this series, and you're talking about impressions. Maybe he's starting to make an impression here down the stretch.
Well, he's made them, then he's reversed them, then he's made them, then he's reversed them.
It's been that kind of year.
It has.
Now, what's interesting for the Cardinals, if they wanted to, I wouldn't think that they would do this. If they wanted to, though, they could carry 10 pitchers going into the short series, 11 or 12, and then that obviously changes the look on your bench.
You and I agree that although the Cardinals have taken 12 in years past, and that's been the number they've landed on, which is where you are all season long, that 11 might make more sense with the planned off days in the playoffs. The fact that you only need 4 starters, not 5, for each one of the rounds. Your 5th starter becomes a reliever and a long guy that you don't really necessarily need 12. I think 10's maybe a little too short. But we'll find out Friday morning.
Essentially, the morning of the day of the game is when you have to have your roster. Now, John Mozeliak was saying that they have a pretty good idea what they're going to do. They held a meeting yesterday about it. They'll have another meeting on Wednesday, solidify that roster on Thursday, but if something comes up and they want to change it, they can. There's a base hit for Moss into right field. First Cardinal hit, and there's 2 runners on here in the top of the second.
In recent memory, I cannot recall even close to this number of difficult decisions when it comes to making a 25-man roster.
I mean, the reality is that in a couple of years, or a couple of years ago, I should say, there were guys that were on the roster that you had the feeling they weren't going to pitch. You weren't down to every guy being so essential, if you will, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and you also, when you start talking about eliminating guys, you think, well, but they've had a good year, or they've done well at this, or this is what we need them to back up, because you've got guys coming back from injuries, whether it's Piscotty, Adams, Holiday, Grichuk. They're not whole players yet in some ways. So the mix of who backs them up gets jumbled a bit.
Wong lines it to center field, and the catch made by Cameron Maben. Been some hard hit outs for the Cardinals. Think of the Carpenter line out to second, Piscotty lined out to right, now this line out to center by Wong.
And speaking of guys in the mix, I want to make sure everybody knows that the guy who is a priority out of the Cardinals bullpen today is Adam Wainwright. He is priority one, according to Mike Matheny before the game. He's getting a chance to pitch today. He needs to see him one more time. And with the weather being a potential issue down the road, I would guess he may be the first guy out of the chute.
Makes sense.
If he's priority one, get him in there.
If he's priority one, maybe priority 1A, if you will, is Yadier Molina. And we hope to see him on Friday night. Slowly but surely trying to come back, and he means so much to this club. But Tony Cruz has done a nice job.
He has.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Cruz. I really felt at the end of last year, maybe the last 4 to 6 weeks, Shelby Miller was starting to figure it out. He had incorporated the cutter. He's always had a good fastball. And he looked like a different pitcher at the end of last year than he was at the beginning. Here's a 2-0.
There's an old saying in baseball, you don't want a young pitcher to get used to losing. And that's the concern you have. Not that, again, he can control all of what's happened. He's had a nice ERA, 3.15. I mean, that's big. That's very, very good. But you don't want to get him kind of accustomed to, oh, well, just another game, move on. I mean, you want to keep that fire to win.
The sense of urgency.
Yeah. And I'm not saying he doesn't have it, but the younger the pitcher, the more the danger lurks.
I think that's the risk you run if you're John Hart in that front office. You know, you bring in a lot of young players, a lot of young talent, but if you don't mix in with the right amount of veterans that show you the right way to how to play the game, that sense of urgency, it maybe doesn't come to fruition. John Coppola is the new general manager. He's actually been here for about a decade, but officially now the new GM.
And that'll be on his plate going forward.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and a ground ball that's hit to second. Castro makes the play. Cardinals strand 2 as they pick up their first hit by Brandon Moss. Field in Atlanta. Let's check in with Jimmy Hayes. Jimmy, where do we find you?
Yeah, I'm in the upper deck. When you're doing a 45-second in-game hit, you need a lot of room, Dan. I wanted to talk a little bit more about Yadier Molina. Getting stronger every day is what Yadi told me about his injured left thumb. Yadi has been walking around using this little squeeze ball as part of his therapy. The idea is to build up the strength in his left hand, particularly in that thumb. He told me he'd yet to swing a bat, but when I asked him if he thought he'd be back for the playoffs, not only back, but also returning as an effective hitter, he says, I'm very hopeful I can. And, Dan, a big day tomorrow. Yadi will meet with doctors. They'll take a look at the thumb, and they'll give him a better idea about what the next step for him is.
Jim, it looks like you're surrounded by all your friends.
Yeah, I'm out here. I called a meeting of the Danny McLaughlin fan club.
Oh, wow.
And this is who showed up.
That hurts. I did. You know what? I gave him a shot, and he came back with a pretty good one. I'll give him credit.
Let's hear it for Dan.
Thank you, Jimmy.
That made it better, didn't it?
The base hit into center for Andrelton Simmons.
See, you don't mess with the cat. You tried a little dig on him, and he's going to dig back.
Oh, yeah. He's quick. He's quick. I mean this sincerely. Jim does a tremendous job interacting with the players. And look, what we do for a living, it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
It's a privilege. We're lucky to do it. But at times, it's not the easiest thing to do in that role that Jim has, especially when a team has a tough loss or guys are struggling. He's got great relationships with the players, and it comes across in all his interviews and reports and information that he brings to the fans. And Jim is to be commended for another great year, and we just appreciate his friendship. He's a great guy.
He does a terrific job, and you think about.
Here's a double play ball for 6-3.
The player's perspective, Dan, you have a bad day, and we think of it as a game, and it is a game, but it's also work and a job, and these guys get fired if they don't do their job well. And 10 minutes after the game, Jim has to get their thoughts about something that may have turned south, and it's not that easy. And you have to have a trust level with the players because they're going to be pretty vulnerable and moody, perhaps, and understandably so. And Jim just has a terrific way of reading them and helping to get out the story without breaking relationships with them, and he really does a terrific job.
There's Shelby Miller, who's hitting .057, does have 11 sacrifices this year. He's got 2 outs and nobody on. Jim, great job again, and Jim will be with you on the postseason, along with Al and Pat and Rick, as we'll have all the post-game shows coming up following playoff games. It's grounded to Peralta, and Miller is out number 3. We head to the 3rd. Braves on top. Access to 2015 playoff and World Series tickets by placing a deposit on new 2016 season tickets today. For details, visit cardinals.com/season. Keep waving. We didn't tell you to stop. We travel with them everywhere. There are waivers for promos.
They were doing a good job until they stopped. Got a lot of Cardinal fans here this afternoon to choose from.
I got to be honest, I'm a little hurt after Jim's shot at my fan club.
You do seem a little down.
A little down. I'm going to have to regroup. As Lackey swings and misses. I'll get over it, though. I know I will. Just wait until he starts talking about the Ricky Horton fan club.
That's too far.
Can't do that, right?
If we considered everybody that is a follower of you on Danny Mac TV, they couldn't fit in this ballpark. Just think about that fan club.
You're talking about on Twitter?
On Twitter.
Oh,
That's one of your fan clubs.
Well, that means a lot. Matt Carpenter, what a season he has had. Highest slugging percentage and batting first in a lineup since 1914. Cal Daniels did that with the Reds. Matt Carpenter, now Brady Anderson, Hanley Ramirez, and who would forget Wally Moses back in 1937. You could follow Rick at RickyH49. At RickyH49, and I'm sure we'll have some nice messages along the way, or at Danny Mac TV on Twitter.
I'm sure we'll have some comments as the playoffs unfold. You mentioned we'll be engaged in post games with Al and Pat Paris, Jim Hayes, and Jim Edmonds will be there as well, and Andy Bennis. We'll certainly be active on Twitter as the Cardinals season certainly isn't done yet, but it'll become national TV, and we'll make sure we keep everybody informed about what we know about our favorite team.
Broken bat single for Carpenter with one out.
Not a bad location.
Next time I see you, we'll be in Jupiter, Florida. This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball for game one of the spring training schedule.
It'll be here before we know it.
So I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and have a great Thanksgiving.
Aren't you going to wish me all the other things that come? Valentine's Day, you got Groundhog's Day.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. A lot will happen between now and then. Does that mean you're not going to the fantasy camp?
I'll be down there.
Okay.
Piscotty grounds it to Simmons, flips to second. Nice double play. It's two hard hit balls by Stephen Piscotty. 6-4-3 on the double play. Going to the playoffs for the first time, and it took them a long time to get there. How about Alex Rios of Kansas City? Nearly 1,700 games that he had not been to postseason play. Bautista, Encarnacion, Chase Headley with the Yankees, Venable, Murphy, Castro, and Denorfia. So guys that have been here a long time are BJC Healthcare difference makers that will have the chance to experience postseason play for the first time.
And Adam Lind will now be the king of that particular stat, and there were rumors about him going to some contenders halfway through the season. He had a good year, maybe too good. The Brewers decided to keep him, and despite some of the interest in other teams, including the St. Louis Cardinals.
Good breaking ball, and that's pulled foul. We are in the third, and the top of the lineup, Michael Bourne, who doubled off the wall in right. Little chopper to the right side, handled by Moss. October means baseball, and FS1 continues to be your home for the postseason, the American League Division and Championship Series. So don't miss a moment of the drama and history. It all begins Thursday on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Speaking of drama and scheduling, all games in baseball, other than what we've got here in Atlanta because of the doubleheader, were scheduled or are scheduled to start at 3 o'clock. Reason being, baseball wanted the last day fight for those potential wild cards to all be going on at the same time, and a little bit anticlimactic, though we do have some open spots in the American League and some home field advantage issues. But I think in other seasons you could get a lot more on a day like this if you're down to 4 or 5, maybe 6 games being important on the last day.
A few years ago, the Cardinals had that with Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Back when Houston was in the National League Central Division, figuring out who would be the wild card and who would win the division. That swung on and missed. Daniel Castro in a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Not sure I'm going to miss you, Rick. Quite honest.
You know, you're not supposed to say everything you think.
Oh. You're supposed to be truthful.
Well, yeah.
I am going to miss you, Rick.
I know you are. Likewise.
You know, it's crazy, but, you know, we reported on February 19th. We were down there, and, you know, it becomes a part of everyday life. You wake up in the morning, not just the players, but even for us, you think about the game that night and what needs to be done and who's pitching, who's playing, the injuries, the storylines, and all of a sudden it comes to an end.
You develop routines that end up having a life of their own over the course of a long season, and it gets to the point where you don't really know what day it is, and we kid about that, but it's a fact.
Right.
You have to really, okay, where is it? The middle of the week? Is it a weekend? You just don't know. So that's one thing that changes for us and the players when it gets to the off season. You remember what day of the week it is.
Who you're married to.
Well,
those are my kids.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Well, hopefully you remember that, but
I'm trying to get you in trouble. Of course, I don't think that way. I just have heard that.
Okay.
You're shaking your head at me again.
Yeah, it won't be the last time.
You know what I love about baseball? I mean, there's so many things I love about it. I love the grind of the season.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I mean, that's part of what makes this sport unique. The grind.
Well, and again, maybe I overuse this phrase, but I think it's a fact, the marathon of the season.
Yep.
And if you do too many things with the playoffs, Dan, to take that away, you lose the magic of that grind. That an April win is as important as a June win. Otherwise, let's just say you throw all the teams into a pile, and you get more playoff teams, and you have more trades at the trade deadline, and teams become vastly different than they were in April, then the April games don't matter, and they do in baseball, and I love that.
strikeout of Markakis, and a 1-2-3 inning. John Lackey, most quality starts in the National League this year. And Arrieta will go in game one, or the play-in game, if you will, for the Cubs against the Pirates. Garrett Cole has been announced to go for Pittsburgh.
You could win a bar bet with that one. Who's had more quality starts, assuming Lackey gets one today, which he probably won't because they won't let him throw that many innings, but he certainly would be conceivable that he would do it if he was allowed to throw 6 innings. But the point being that he and Clayton Kershaw, the same number of quality starts, I think you could surprise a lot of people with that. The other thing about Lackey is his innings pitched.
Yes.
He's going to be top 5 in that category. That is an important stat that we don't talk about very much.
Holiday.
Watch out.
Oh, nice play. Siriaco near his own dugout. And Holiday is 0 for 2 with that pop-up.
Holiday gets jammed. There's the play. Siriaco, not a lot of experience at first base, but he makes that play. And Hayward's second chance to hit against Shelby Miller. You know, you mentioned it, but it happened quickly with Stephen Piscotty. Love the fact that he's had 2 good at-bats in this game.
That's what I'm taking away from it so
yeah,
far.
And 0 for 2 doesn't. That's where you'd say results don't matter on a day like this, where you just say, okay, did he get good quality at-bats?
I think the sun is actually shining. We haven't seen it for about 4 days. Peeking through the clouds here in Atlanta. 2-0 Braves. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jason Hayward. And Hayward lifts a fly ball into shallow center, and it was a late break by Maben. Broke back on the ball and then did not come in hard, and it drops in for a base hit.
Back to a good trade.
I like it. Most popular way to follow the Cardinals in the postseason is MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. You'll enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, and more. Get MLB.com at bat now. Here's Johnny Peralta, reached on an error. his first time up, and a check on Hayward, who has 23 steals this year. Only caught 3 times. The Cardinals wrapping it up in Pittsburgh. They had the off day on Thursday. And Peralta did not play on Friday night. Last night rained out, so 3 days in a row he's had rest. He hasn't had that since last off season or during the All-Star break. He's the kind of guy, and I think we overlook it at times, that could carry a club offensively.
Absolutely.
He should be well rested going into the postseason. The 2-0.
That too a priority for Mike Matheny. You could tell last few weeks just a bit slower. Bat speed just a little bit less, and when he got a couple of days off, he came back and he was swinging well again. So
runner goes. That's Hayward. Doesn't matter. It's a walk to Peralta. And that'll be the first walk issued by Shelby Miller.
I think there's another point to be made about playing a game on a day like this when you talk about don't get hurt. I think there's a point at which you play tentatively, and you may get hurt more doing that than playing the game the way you normally do it.
Sure.
I think
tentative, like you said.
If you're on your heels and you're kind of being overly reactive, that's not the way a player's typically geared.
Greg Garcia will be the pinch runner, and now it's Brandon Moss. Runners at first and second. And Moss cranks one out to deep right field. Right center, Maben is there. Makes the catch. Garcia has to backtrack, and it's a double play. To 4-3 on the double play, as Moss was just a few feet away from giving the Cardinals a lead. In the bottom of the fourth. Not a great base running play here from Greg Garcia.
Well, Garcia, all he really needs to do is get to second base on this long fly ball. He wants to be able to score. He wants 2 runs, so you appreciate that. But he hadn't looked, and he needed to look quicker. So he got all the way to shortstop. In fact, just beyond that picture was Jason Hayward. He almost lapped him, so he just maybe a bit too aggressive.
And a high fly ball lifted out to deep left field. And this ball is gone. Piscotty was back at the wall, ran out of room, and it's a home run for Garcia. His 9th of the year, RBI number 24. 3-0 Braves.
John Lackey's hung a couple of pitches today. You can add this one to the list. Breaking ball, middle of the plate and up. Didn't have the normal sharp break that Lackey normally features, and he does give up his share of home runs. Solo shots bother you less.
The changes for the Cardinals: Piscotty moving from right to left, Borges in the game at center, and Hayward moving from center to right. Greg Garcia staying in the game at shortstop. Only thing I can think about with Greg Garcia on that play is that he thought that ball was gone.
Well, if you think
it doesn't make it right, but I'm just saying.
But that, to me, if you think the ball's gone, then you trot. If you think the ball's going to get down against the wall, then you think, I got to try to find a way to score. But you only have to be at second base to be able to score. If that ball dropped in the gap, he could still score from there. You don't have to be all the way to shortstop, which essentially, that's where he ended up.
Here's a 3-1 pitch and a foul ball. Cameron Maben with a 2-out single to right center to bring in Markakis. At that point made it 2-0, and now Garcia's made it 3-0 with his solo home run. The Cardinals finish up this year #1 in terms of the overall record in 2015. 8th time in their history to have the best overall record. 2 teams with 10 or more division titles since 2000. The Cardinals and Yankees both have 10. And a swing and a miss as Lackey comes back to get him. Strikeout number 3. So Maben strikes out, and it brings in Pedro Siriaco.
You look at the season of John Lackey, he's 13-9, and I know of 3 games that come to my head, one of them recently, where he could have won the game, and the Cardinals bullpen either didn't save the game or the offense wasn't there. He could easily be 16-9 or 16-8.
After the batter, we'll have an update on Randal Grichuk, who could play a big role in postseason play, and also maybe changes your look at the roster potentially as to whether or not he can play center field. 0-2 the count with 1 out and nobody on. Siriaco struck out swinging back in the first inning. Check swing, and he did go. Let's check in with Jim Hayes. Jimmy.
Dan, Grichuk is still working that throwing program, which is designed to strengthen the troublesome right elbow. Grichuk is maxing out at 150 feet. He told me he's even going beyond that, throwing from 170 feet out. He says there is still concern that 100% all-out throw could re-injure his elbow, but he says he's getting more confident with it every day. And Randall told me come playoff time, if he was called upon to play center field and make throws, he doesn't think it would be a problem. Dan?
However, it lingers, and that's the issue right now for Mike Matheny. Which then makes you think, who do you carry out of maybe a Jay, a Borges, a Pham, potentially, well, with this roster if he can't play center?
We've also seen a lot of Jason Hayward in center, more than we thought we would. Matheny was asked about Hayward playing center, and is that something that he hasn't had a lot of experience with? He said, hey, the guy's got a lot of gold on his shelf. I have no problems putting Jason Hayward in center field. Now, the ball comes off the bat differently. We all understand that, but he's a plus fielder with a lot of range. I'd say it's a pretty good option if you've got a lot of corner outfielders you're dealing with, including perhaps Grichuk.
2-1 is line to second base, and taken there by Wong. No. Yes, it is. So Wong makes the catch. 3-0 as we head to the 5th.
Yeah, unfortunately, it comes from a tragic story. The Bat Boys here today are all wearing wristbands, and it's not just in this game. It'll be throughout baseball. It has a KC on it. You notice the Cardinal Bat Boy today, the wristband on his right arm, and that is in memory of Kaiser Carlisle, who was a 9-year-old bat boy for the Liberal BJs in the Summer League team in Liberal, Kansas. And you may remember the story in August. He was hit in the head with a bat. Guy in the on-deck circle swung the bat and hit him accidentally, and he died the next day. And it was such a tragic moment. He was so popular with that team, and he had been wearing a helmet at the time. It just was one of those freak accidents, hit him in the wrong spot at the wrong time. And they're going to have a fundraiser, the Kaiser Carlisle Memorial 5K walk run. That's going to be in Liberal, Kansas coming up. But all baseball is honoring the family of that young man and his memory.
You know, I get asked a lot from fans about bat boys and how they become bat boys. Some are regulars that have been around a long time and maybe work in the clubhouse with the teams, and those guys put in a lot of long hours. And certain bat boys that are friends or family of players or folks involved with the teams, as Wong grounds out and it brings in Tony Cruz, well, they have to be a certain age.
Yeah.
I think it's 14 or 15. And the reason why is because of Darren Baker, Dusty's son, from a few years ago, in that famous play in which J.T. Snow scored. And when he scored for the Giants, he actually had to lift up Darren Baker as he was scoring and touching the plate with a potential play at the plate. So Major League Baseball after that took a hard look at just how young some of those bat boys should be.
I think that makes sense. And you're also talking about kids that do work crazy hours. Often in the past, the bat boys had other responsibilities with clubhouse duties, etc. And you're talking about a lot of night games. And if they're regulars doing it, it's, let's just say, it's not the easiest job. It looks glamorous, but it's not. I know they're all happy to have that position, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of work involved.
2-2 the count. Just watching Tony Cruz keep 1 foot in the batter's box, which 6 months ago was one of the big stories in baseball. The pace of play and the clock between innings and stepping out after routine pitches. I think after about 2 weeks, it became routine for most players.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. He's out of the box now, but you can be out of the box after a foul ball. It's just the ball or the strike called. You're not supposed to leave. I noticed Joey Votto changed his routine a little bit. He just walks like a caged animal inside the batter's box, from front left to front right to back left.
Strikeout number 3 for Shelby Miller, and Randall Grichuk will be the pinch hitter for John Lackey. Non-stop action, heart-pounding excitement, historic performances. Don't miss the 2015 postseason. Begins October 6th. Just head to MLB.com/postseason for a full schedule. There's Tyler Lyons, who was terrific the other night. Be short day's rest with him throwing. He pitched on Wednesday.
Just doing that same math myself.
Ooh, and Grichuk is hit by the pitch. I think Randall wants to hit.
He said, I got you going to first, and Randall's thinking, no, I hit my bat. He's arguing the wrong way. Home plate umpire is Alan Porter, and he said, I've got that. I think I heard him say, I got that hitting you.
I think I'm dead serious. I think Randall Grichuk wanted to hit.
Now, it is one of our. Here's the replay, and it does hit off the knob of the bat.
It sure did.
We may get a change in this, but this reminds me of that's a rule we have in fantasy camp. If you get hit by a pitch, you actually get to say, no, I want to hit.
Right.
At our fantasy camp, but you can't do that here.
No. This is the major leagues.
Now, we, of course, do not have reviews or challenges at fantasy camp, at least not yet.
You need to up your game.
We don't have the technology.
So they are going to take a look at this. This will be reviewed.
And Randall's going to say, I told you. I could have saved you the review.
I think what we're thankful for is that it didn't hit his hand.
Oh, my. Very close. Ball hits off the knob of the bat. You've had that happen before, Dan. That doesn't feel very good either.
Not when guys are throwing this hard.
No.
Some of the players are pointing up to the video board that they have here, big high definition board, and saying, you know what, skip the review, bring him back, and let's swing the bat. Hit the knob of the bat.
They're going to let him stay at first. Huh. That's not how I saw it.
Nope.
One more time. Does it hit the bat? Sure looks like it.
Be a little bit of the glove, the batting glove, and the finger, I guess. Well, regardless, he's hit by the pitch, and here is Mark Reynolds. The skies have darkened here in Atlanta.
It was an ominous sentence you just said.
That pitch up and in on Reynolds. Reynolds pinch hitting for Carpenter, who went 1 for 2. I don't know about you, but I see those kind of plays, and I'm thinking, well, if I'm Mike Matheny, I think I got my guys enough work, and my regulars are out. Rest of this game and next game. We'll see. As Lance Lynn will pitch in that game. He's 12-10. It's our Budweiser What's on Tap. And it'll be coming up 30 minutes after the completion of game number 1 of this doubleheader. It's gotten a bit more windy. It has cooled off. And it has gotten dark here in Atlanta. Dark skies overhead. And Tyler Lyons, who we just saw pitching in that crucial clinching game, is working out of relief.
So he's our Chevy call to the bullpen, and I'm surprised on 2 levels. First of all, I think Adam Wainwright's the priority to get an inning or 2 today. And with the weather starting to change, I would think that you get him in when you can. That's number 1. But also, I do not recall the last time a Cardinal pitcher pitched on 3 days rest. Something that had been done a lot in the past, just hasn't been done recently. And Tyler threw 80-plus pitches. In my mind, he proved his value.
Oh, yeah.
In that last start. He doesn't have to prove it again today, but he's back out there on 3 days rest.
Rick, think about this. Regardless as to whether or not you play Chicago or Pittsburgh, Lance Lynn gets a start. His numbers have not been very good against those 2 teams, and you may need a long man potentially in that game. That could be Tyler Lyons. That's hit out to center by LeVarn Way, and there's Peter Borges. Not saying that Lynn wouldn't go deep. He may go all 9. You don't know, but you do get the feeling he could protect you.
I think Tyler is your 5th starter that you don't need, again, for a short series, but you'd like to have him around. And again, if I'm making that choice, and the choices are not easy, as we've mentioned, not just the hitters, but for the pitching staff as well. I would guess, Dan, and I'm not in charge of doing this, and I don't want to be, but I would guess there will be 3 or 4 players that have been with this team all season long that won't be on the postseason roster.
Agreed.
And how odd is that?
Some tough decisions and discussions coming up. Here's Shelby Miller, the starter for the Braves. And an 0-1 pitch. John Lackey today, 4 innings, 3 runs on 5 hits, 4 strikeouts, no walks, and he allowed 1 home run.
It's gotten a little bit cooler, too, in the last few minutes. So perhaps some bad weather looming.
That's pulled down the line and a foul ball.
Wanted to follow up on a point you made last inning too, Dan, about getting guys out and not overplaying them now. I think that the other thing you're trying to balance with that, think back on the 2006 World Series, the Cardinals playing Detroit, and what you remember most about that series was a stale Detroit team that had been unbeatable all season long, but they had to wait so long to play again, they lost their timing. And that's the other side. You like to play because you want guys to stay sharp.
We may be watching a different Tyler Lyons from here on out after the confidence that he builds upon from his last start. I mean, not only the fashion in which he won the game, but the importance of it too. And he was dominant against a very good Pittsburgh lineup. There's so much to be said about confidence in this game, and are you comfortable believing in yourself and your abilities? I mean, this guy's stuff, Wainwright, is filthy. But sometimes I'm not sure we see him pitch with that kind of confidence that he can.
Agreed. And the filthy part for him is his breaking pitch. He has a top-notch slider.
Look at that. I mean, that's as good as he's looked all year again. He just carved up Michael Bourne. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Cardinals to warm sunshine and blue skies in Jupiter, Florida on your next Cardinals vacation. For more details, visit cardinals.com/vacations or call 800-892-7687. Here's Stephen Piscotty. 2 hard hit balls, but nothing to show for it. He lined out to right field and grounded into a 6-4-3 double play. And that was in the 3rd. The Cardinals have hit into 2 double plays today. And we're in the top of the 6th. We have received very nice messages via Twitter. This being our final telecast of the season. We appreciate it. And we can't wait for postseason play like many of you. Again, Rick and Al and Andy Bennis, Jim Edmonds, Jim Hayes, Pat Paris will be with you for the postseason. And that'll be on Fox Sports Midwest in terms of post-game shows, pep rallies, and whatnot from Ballpark Village. And I'll be sitting on a sofa somewhere, Rick, critiquing you.
I would much prefer you come over and hang out in the green room with us
and
talk shop.
Not a chance.
You make me laugh for 6 straight months, and then you're just going to leave me hanging.
If people could hear our conversations before or after.
Well, wait a minute.
Uber rides. Last night was one of our better ones.
Yeah, that one would have to be on HBO, I think.
Here's Peter Borges. What? I'll tell you what, we are experts too. Between innings, we've got it all figured out. I would have done this. Why didn't he? What?
It's part of the love of baseball, though, isn't it? I mean, we all do that as people connected to the game. You live and die with every move the manager makes, and I guarantee you the average Cardinal fan has thought through the roster themselves.
Borges with a fly ball into shallow right center.
Part of the fun of it.
I've got my 25 man. How about you?
I've changed it 3 times.
Have you really?
Mm-hmm. I have until 10 o'clock Friday morning.
Yes, you do. Here's John Jay. He'll pinch hit. I think John Jay is an interesting case. You know, one way or another, what you do with John in terms of postseason play. The one thing you love is experience come playoff time, and he's got plenty of that. It's been a tough year. He's hit .215, injury-plagued season, 1 home run, 10 RBIs. Two balls and no strikes.
Experience certainly counts for something. He's got versatility, can play a lot of different outfield, all different outfield positions. I think you're going to look for a balance on your bench, assuming you even understand who your starting lineup's going to be. But let's say you get to that point, you're going to want a balance on your bench, lefty, righty, speed, defense, power, average, on-base percentage guy, and this is what John Jay does. He gets on base. Now, he hasn't done it this year, granted. But when he's right, that's what he does.
Second walk issued by Shelby Miller, and it brings in Garcia. Garcia came in as a pinch runner for Johnny Peralta, who started the game, reached on an error and walked, and then Garcia, with Moss driving one to the wall and 2 runners on, was doubled off at first base, rounded second, catch was made in deep center field, and then a double play. So 2 outs. Jay, your runner at first base. Shelby Miller working at a very quick pace here in game 1 of this doubleheader, and I think that's what we anticipate the entire day being like. Quick pace to this, understanding there's inclement weather around, and you know, guys wanting to get through the season.
I wonder how far they'll go with Shelby Miller in this game. You want it to be a positive experience for him. You don't want to get him to the point where he's looking over his shoulder to have the bullpen help him, but you know, let him leave on a good note.
Have a chance to win.
Have a chance to win.
it's kind of the fine line if you're in that dugout with the Atlanta Braves and Freddie Gonzalez. You're saying, well, you want Shelby Miller to have a chance to do this himself. It's been talked about an awful lot around here in town. 24 consecutive starts without a win. But the fine line is this. You leave it up to him, he could lose it. If he leaves with a chance to win, you go out for sure on a high note.
One thing I can say from experience, how you go out matters. And what I really thought the Cardinals were doing with Adam Wainwright is just getting him some experience on the mound so that would help for next year. Clearly it's more than that because he's competing. He's not just out there. Because it's a long winter. And however you finish, that's what you sit on for a whole winter.
This is well hit. Out to left center field, but the catch will be made. Michael Bourne with good speed tracks it down, and the Cardinals strand a runner. They're fifth, and Miller is through 6.
Official Cardinals yearbook celebrating the history of Cardinals uniform numbers and the legends who made them famous. Order your copy today at 314-345-9000, or you can go to cardinals.com/yearbook. Tyler Lyons back out for his second inning, and a bunt attempt by Castro comes up empty, 0-1. Tyler Lyons in relief of John Lackey, and this is inning number 2 for Tyler Lyons. He was very sharp, Dan, in the 5th.
So John Mozeliak and Michael Gersher next to us, and I went over between innings and I said, well, 3 days rest, Tyler Lyons, any concern with this? And they said, no, we're treating this as his bullpen. This would be like his bullpen. We'd be concerned if he didn't pitch for a couple of weeks, so he gets in some action here. And no concern. We'll keep a close eye on him, but that's how they're treating this. So there you go.
Okay. Normally when you throw a bullpen, you don't have a guy with a piece of wood in his hand trying to hit a line drive off you.
I'm just giving you the facts of the report. That's all I can do.
You did a great job with it. Well, it's worked out well. 3 strikeouts of the 4 hitters that he's faced.
Here's an 0-1.
John Jay has stayed in the game. He's in left field. Stephen Piscotty has moved back to right field defensively.
Look at that breaking ball. And a 1-2 pitch. Another breaking ball. I'll tell you what, this catches your attention.
He's throwing a good bullpen.
Woo. How about the Texas Rangers? What do we know about Texas heading into postseason play?
Got a good offense. They can pound the baseball. They have a record of 37-21 since the 31st of July, and we know that they're trying to hang on right now. They did not finish off their game yesterday, which would have clinched the West for them.
Out to deep left, and this ball is gone. Garcia with his second home run. Another solo shot. He's 2 for 3 today, and that makes it 4-0 Atlanta.
Lyons has just breezed through the Braves lineup, but not on that delivery. Check the location, middle, long way. That does not change the fact that Tyler Lyons has been extremely impressive here this afternoon.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. Missed that by a foot. Cameron Maben single to right center, picked up an RBI, and also struck out. 1 for 2.
I like the determination that Lyons has. That was an outstanding changeup there, and as he snapped the ball into his glove, throw back from Cruz, you could tell he's still smarting over that home run he gave up, thinking I should have thrown that pitch.
But that he strikes out the side in 5 in 2 innings for Tyler Lyons. 4-0 Braves. We head to the 7th. Home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Shelby Miller pitching into the 7th. He's got Moss, Wong, and Cruz coming up for St. Louis. Along with Jim Hayes and Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Todd Cunningham takes over in right field. For the Atlanta Braves, it's one change for them. We'll see a shift on here for Moss. Hit one to the wall. It turned out to be a double play back in the 4th. And also single to right. First pitch to Moss. Popped up. Into shallow left. Windy day. And one away as Simmons makes the play. Well, Cardinals trailing by 4, but the rain has not started. And by our account, with the various apps that we have, it could start at any minute. But it hasn't begun to rain yet, and it said it could start at any minute 2 hours ago. Here's Colton Wong. Wong is lined out to center and also grounded out to third. Off-speed pitch. That curveball drops in for a strike.
The odd thing about yesterday, Dan, the game being postponed, is it rained essentially all day long, but never very hard. And like game one of this series, you had the sense that if they would have just started it, we could have played the game yesterday. But the conditions wouldn't have been good. Cool temperatures, a little windy here yesterday too, so it wouldn't have been fun. Today a lot better than what we would have dealt with last night.
3-1 the count on Colton Wong.
Creates hard decisions for baseball though when you deal with inclement weather in the last weekend series. You don't have a lot of play time before the playoffs start in wild card games, and if two teams happen to tie at the end, you've got a meaningful game. Then what do you do? A lot of tough decisions to be made.
And a ground ball that's hit to first. A flip to Shelby Miller for the out. 2 down. Here is Tony Cruz. And Cruz has grounded out to second and also struck out. Shelby Miller. Look at his season at 5-17, 30+ starts again, back-to-back years doing that, and the very respectable 3.15 ERA. Lack of run support significant.
Well, there are many that would say that WAR is the only really stat that matters. I'm not one of them, but many would say that in an attempt to figure out just how good a year did somebody have overall. And Shelby certainly improved in that stat from a year ago. Sure, he would have liked to have won more games, but the ERA has been terrific. Doesn't give up very many hits either. The Cardinals saw him on the 25th of July, and he gave up just 2 hits in 7 1/3 innings in that game.
Two and two the count with 2 outs and nobody on. And a swing and a miss. 5 strikeouts today for Shelby Miller. He's allowed just 3 hits, pitching a shutout so far, 4-0 as we play in the bottom of the 7th. John Lackey, 4 innings in his final tune-up. Hayward 1 for 2. Garcia, a couple of home runs. Adonis Garcia with a couple of solo home runs for the Atlanta Braves. One coming on a hanging breaking ball from John Lackey. That was in the 4th inning. And then his next time up in the 6th, he would do it again. This one off of Tyler Lyons. Big Cardinal fan Robert Dale is watching us, and he sent along a great photo of his son, who's going through a little bit of a tough time, and we wish them well and enjoy the playoff run for the St. Louis Cardinals. It's Robert Dale and his son.
Well, you're not supposed to have favorites when people sing God Bless America, the national anthem. It's a meaningful time at ballparks throughout our country, and every day is special, whether there's a young kid doing it or a group or whatever kind of music it might be. But that rendition we just heard of God Bless America was outstanding. Terrific between innings.
This will be the 3rd inning of work for Tyler Lyons. He's got 5 strikeouts in 2 innings. The Cards are in the postseason, and Fox Sports Midwest will have you covered. Catch the Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live postgame show on Fox Sports Midwest. After every playoff game, Jim Hayes will be in the stadium. Pat Paris and the crew will break down the game from Ballpark Village. Missouri Lottery and our Cardinals postseason coverage.
So far, a pretty good bullpen session for Tyler Lyons. Now a little bit longer than what you'd normally get from a bullpen session in terms of number of pitches.
But you just won't let it go. The bullpen session, you won't let it go, will you?
No, I'm just surprised by it is all.
There's a base hit into right field from Pedro Siriaco.
Bad location there for Tyler Lyons.
There is activity in the Braves bullpen. Miller's spot is 3 away. Andrelton Simmons has singled to center and also lined out to second base. Edwin Jackson, we saw him pitch in game 1, is getting loose for the Braves in their bullpen. Our friend Chip Carey working on the television side for the Atlanta Braves. Had the chance to work a handful of seasons with his father and, of course, his grandfather, Hall of Famer Harry Carey. Don Sutton, Hall of Famer, working on the radio side for the Braves, and that's well hit out to deep left field. This ball is gone. It's a home run over the wall and left, and Simmons with his 4th home run.
Simmons has had a quiet series. We haven't talked much about him. Not really a home run threat typically. As you mentioned, just his 4th. He is a defensive wizard. I mean, he is the best in the game, I would say, defensively. Certainly top 2 or 3, but haven't really talked about him much in this series. Braves are lucky to have him. Very talented player.
I like that guy down in Miami an awful lot, too.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Danny Echeverria.
You just like saying his name.
I do. 1 ball, 1 strike on Ryan Lavarnway. 6-0 Braves here in game 1 of the doubleheader. 2 balls and 1 strike. Breaking ball taken high. From our vantage point, we can't tell if the Cardinals have activity in the pen. And a strikeout. Late call, and strikeout number 6 for Lyons. Let's go back to the home run.
Second home run given up by Tyler Lyons. Change up, circle change grip. And it just sat in the middle of the plate more than Lyons wanted. He tried to get that ball down and away, and it just cut back over the plate. It happens with a changeup that you pull across your body a bit, and other than a couple of location pitches from Tyler Lyons that have resulted in home runs, still had some dominating moments here.
Off the mound, settles and throws as Miller takes his time, trotting down the first base line, and there's 2 away. With 2 outs, it brings in Michael Bourne. Again, game 2 will be 30 minutes after the final out of this one. Breaking ball drops in for a strike. Oh, 1 pitch. The check swing, and he did not go. Your favorite moment from this season? What is it?
Been a lot of them. You're going to have to give me a minute on that one.
Let me throw some out there. I'm thinking off the top of my head. I'm sure some of those that are watching can help us along on Twitter as well. But I'd say Greg Garcia's home run is one of my favorites. Peralta's home run down to the final strike in Chicago. Greg Garcia's home run came against the Cubs earlier this year. Pinch hit home run.
The first thing I honestly thought of was our Uber ride yesterday, you and me. But
well, who wouldn't think of that?
But you had to be there for that one.
It was interesting. I found that ride to be educational in many ways. Why are you putting your head down in your hands and shaking your head? Well, we had great music. We had movie conversation. We had imitations. The 2-2. Backhanded by Wong. And he gets the speedy Bourne. I'm going to let you think about it during the break.
I will.
Midwest, let's go to our studio and a Bomberito Sports Update with Pat. Well, Pat, you think about such a disappointing season for the Nationals. Many picked them to go to postseason play, certainly win the pennant in the National League. Many thought that. But one bright spot, Max Scherzer, the St. Louisan, and congratulations to Max. Had the chance to visit with him the other day here in Atlanta. We had the off day and we're staying in the same hotel, and he was down in the lobby, and such a gracious guy, good guy, and so happy for Max. 2 no-hitters and 2 near perfect games. Incredible.
Nice finish.
3-0 on Tommy Pham, as Miller is trying to finish this one off and pick up the victory. It's a leadoff walk, not what he wants to do with a 6-run lead.
I want to add a couple of moments to our list of good moments during the season. I like opening day, regardless of what happens. There's something about that experience for someone connected to the Cardinals. You go to opening day, all of the things that surround that. That's always a good memory to me, regardless of winning or losing. Jason Hayward's throw to the plate, one where Yachty got hurt. Terrific throw. I love watching outfielders make great throws. That's a nice moment. Frankly, I like the moment when we found out that Stephen Piscotty was okay.
Yeah.
Now it's an odd, maybe one to throw into what we're talking about good moments on the field, but certainly was a lot better than what we expected to hear.
Yeah, folks telling us that they really enjoyed, as you mentioned, the Hayward throw to get Rizzo against the Cubs, the Reynolds grand slam, which was against the Chicago Cubs earlier this year. The comeback win against the Nationals, and Brandon Moss, his walk-off homer.
How about the 3 games in a row against the Pirates at home?
All walk-offs?
All walk-offs.
Yeah.
Now that's a long moment, but think about that series, Dan. That's the difference between first and second place right now.
Here's a 1-2. Interesting moment here, but and it's certainly up there in moments I won't forget. I'm not sure it's my favorite, but the Cats interview from Ballpark Village, and we were up in the AT&T rooftop. You may recall that famous interview.
Oh yes, yep, I was watching.
It was classic, if you will.
Thank you for bringing that up, Danny. Some of my finest work.
I thought your work on the celebration was second to none, but how could we forget that particular interview? My favorite part, absolutely favorite part of that interview, and Jim is so good on his feet with these things, but Jim says to the guy, to the fan, I'm going to tempt fate and go back to the well one more time with you, sir.
And he lost it, didn't he?
Oh, my goodness. Classic. Go to bat.
I think it's part of the storyline of this season, Dan.
It's kind of like the happy flight on the rings. You may have classic go to bat on the rings, if the Cardinals get there.
When they write the story of the 2015 season, that will be on it.
Lots of good moments. Best record overall, the Cardinals 160. Gentlemen, tells us the Hayward grand slam from the other night. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Stephen Piscotty, and a ground ball that's pulled foul.
And it's not really a moment. It's not really your question, but if you are talking about writing the story of this 2015 season, it's going to be a story of resiliency. So many moments. Matt Carpenter early in the season had some fatigue issues, did not make an entire trip, which was so odd at the time. But others stepped in, performed well. Peralta had a couple of good, carried the team really for about 6 weeks offensively. And then with Holiday going down and Matt Adams, Wainwright. Adam had been pitching very well up till his Achilles issue. Been 4-1, ERA under 2.
That's driven out to deep left center field. And tracking it down. Nice play again. Second time he's done that. Michael Bourne into deep left center field and Pham back to the bag at first.
And another good at-bat for Piscotty.
Yep. Well, the mantra, if you will, is next man up. It certainly held true this year.
Just came off it just a bit at the last second. The timing is certainly okay for Piscotty. That's good to see. Well, it's been a team that has relied on starting pitching excellence. And I think the cause for concern when you go into the playoffs is the starting pitching isn't as sharp as it was 2 months ago. The offense is better and more guys are coming back. So the question is, does that balance out to be a winning formula going into the playoffs so Mike Matheny can go deep into the playoffs in 2015? That's the question.
There's an 0-1 pitch. Borges pops it foul and out of play. I think for me, the Peralta home run against the Cubs, down to their final strike. A lot of momentum going the Cubs' way, and they were just maybe a couple of weeks away from taking off. Finished up on a high note, but dramatic win. Will this be the final inning for Shelby Miller? He's at 109. The pitch count. And a swing and a miss. What could be his final pitch of 2015. St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. A mash unit, huh? Been a good year for the Cardinals skipper, Mike Matheny. His career as a manager, 4 years and 4 trips to the postseason.
Unprecedented. A second, 3 firsts, and still somehow gets slighted when people start talking about manager of the year. Joe Madden done a nice job. Collins in New York done a nice job. Clint Hurdle's done a nice job. But you've got the 3 best teams in all of baseball in the National League Central Division. And you've got a manager who dealt with so many injuries for key players all season long, and yet this team wins 100+ games. I don't know how you can't consider Mike Matheny as the manager of the year, or at least get him in the conversation, for goodness sakes.
Adam Wainwright will take over. This is the bottom of the 8th, and our Chevy called to the pen.
Talk about getting into the conversation.
Well, now in a 6-0 game, it takes on a little bit different feel right now with Adam Wainwright, where every appearance is very important for him. We noticed from the first time out in Pittsburgh, he was painting the outside corner.
Yep, and did there. And he's pitching with that bulldog mentality that we used to see more of out of the bullpen. You know, as a starter, it's hard to stay so kind of emotionally geared up and amped up for 9 innings. He does it more internally, but when we used to see him out of the bullpen in the 8th and 9th innings of games, he'd come in
amped up.
Very amped up.
There's that curveball, and it's hit to short. Garcia to his left. 1 away. How about Adam Wainwright and the delivery? Have you seen any ill effects with the Achilles?
No, not at all. You'd be concerned about how stable is he with the landing. There's his balanced position, his eye on the target. He's closed to the target until the last second, then delivers the curveball, lands. No issues at all from Wainwright.
So the question now, Rick, is what is his role come postseason play?
I think it's going to evolve. I could see it going 2 different ways for Wainwright. I could see him becoming an 8th inning guy, 8th inning, 7th, 8th inning right-hander in front of Rosenthal. Segrist and Rosenthal, they're locks. They're the last guys standing from the left and right side. But right before that, who is it? Maybe Wainwright. I could also see him being a bridge guy that could go 2 or 3 innings in a game where you have to bring in a pinch hitter, but it's a close game. You don't want to. You bring in a pinch hitter in the 6th inning of a game. You want 2 solid innings out of somebody you can count on. I could see him doing that role.
3-0 pitch. At what point is his arm strength to the point that he could go multiple innings? It might be now. I don't know.
It's a good question.
3-1 pitch.
Mike Matheny was asked yesterday about Wainwright. The thought was, well, his arm wasn't sore. He had Achilles issues, so is it going to be easier in the comeback with the arm? And his comment was, well, yeah, the arm's not been an issue physically, but you still have to build up that arm strength to be able to go multiple innings. So he was a little cautious on that thought.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the account and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. So 1-out walk, and this pitch is hit in the air, right field. Pham is over in foul territory to make the catch. And with that, there's 2 outs. We have not seen a team lay down a bunt against Adam Wainwright. Granted, this is only his 3rd appearance. It's a 6-0 lead. I just wonder if there's, you know, that ball that gets tapped back to him that he's got to reach forward to his right or move to his left, cover the bases. It's kind of like your bullpen session. You can do it, you know, when the bullets aren't live, so to speak, but when they are, it's a different story.
They tried to simulate that as best as possible a couple of different times when he had his what they called amped up BP sessions, where he was throwing to Cardinal teammates. They tried to get him to incorporate a little PFP into it, where he was hopping off the mound, fielding balls to his left, to his right. That was part of the go for him, was not just can he pitch, but can he field his position. There was more concern about that, frankly, than the pitching part. And he passed evidently those tests with flying colors, and that's why we see him snapping off those curveballs.
It's the best one he's thrown yet. Not just today, but maybe since he's come back.
Very sharp. Ooh, lot of break. Perfect tilt.
Here's an 0-2 pitch. On its way. Another one. Wainwright gets the strikeout. Old Uncle Charlie. Get used to that from number 50. Again by Adam Wainwright. Strikeout in a scoreless inning. We head to the ninth, and the Braves will go to their bullpen. This will be a left-hander, Matt Marksberry, and our Chevy called to the pen. They're trying to pick up a win for Shelby Miller in his final start of 2015.
We saw Marksberry in the first game of this series. He walked Brandon Moss, the only batter he faced, and Shelby Miller trying to break that string of 24 straight games without a victory.
Walt Jocketty saying the other day that Brian Price is assured of coming back for another season as the manager of the Reds. John Farrell officially will be back next season with the Boston Red Sox, and a ground ball that's hit to short. Simmons, and that'll be an error. The second error on the Atlanta Braves.
Don't see many of those from Simmons, just his 8th of the season. So he's been a guy that's been reliable, like Johnny Peralta, making few errors, but the difference with Simmons is the tremendous range, and he doesn't have to really show off much range right here. He just boots it. He let the ball get a little deep on him, and then lost the handle, then made a bad throw.
And a strike at the knees to Greg Garcia. Came in as a pinch runner for Johnny Peralta as it starts to rain here at the ballpark. Some of the fans head for cover. This would have been about the start time The official game, 162. According to my sources, Rick, which is also known as my phone, it will stop raining in about 20 minutes or so.
And the expectation is just 30 minutes between games here. So that'll work out just nicely. You've got some great sources.
No doubt. I mean, this app I have is on it. Garcia spins away from that pitch to go to 3-2. Hit out of play.
Game 161. I don't think we're too deep into the season that we can't still have another bloop and a blast conversation.
Actually, we are. Yep, that's over. All right, save that for spring or whatever you want to do in April next year.
I'm
And
telling
it's
you.
a walk.
I'm telling you.
If you're Shelby Miller right now, you're sweating it.
Well,
Shelby is our Budweiser player of the game.
Well, he's got that award for sure, but he also would like a victory, and the reason he's sweating it is he's been conditioned to feel that. 24 straight games without a victory. Many of those games he's pitched well. We did talk about him having a very rough September. He was 0-5 with a 7.11 in the month of September.
What?
Cardinals, by the way, Dan, have not had a losing month as a team since June 2012. This month, with a loss here in the first game, they would go to 0-2. So there goes that streak.
That's right. We are in October.
We may not know what day it is, but we do know what month it is. Can't get that past us. Let's see. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
All right, take the headset off, and I'll see you for game 2. It's blocked. Here's a 1-2. Strikeout of Moss. This crowd into every pitch. Pete Cosmo will be your pinch hitter. And Freddie Gonzalez will go to his pen. And this will be a chance to finish off the Cardinals here in Game 1 of the doubleheader, presented by Chevrolet. So Pete Kozma will hit with 1 out and runners at first and second. Rain continues to fall here in Atlanta, Georgia. And a reminder, Game 2 is coming up 30 minutes after the final out here of Game number 1. Kozma with a fly ball out to center. Maben makes the catch. Pham will tag up from second to third. Check that. Jay will tag up from second to third. And with 2 outs, the hitter will be Ed Easley. I'm curious if Molina is unavailable on Friday night and not on the postseason roster for the division series, who's the backup?
It's a good question. I haven't really seen much of Ed Easley at all.
We've seen more of Chartamella behind
Lately.
the plate defensively. Steady rain here at the ballpark, albeit light, but steady. Lights are on as we wrap up the season here today.
Is it an oversimplification to say that if you want to go with a backup catcher who's a good receiver first, you go to Tartamella, and if it's offense, you go to Easley?
I think so. Well, Shelby Miller, the streak ends. Snapped at 24 consecutive starts without a win. He picks up the win, a 6-0 victory against his former team. The Braves over the Cardinals 6-0.
Your key to the game?
Health.
Health came to pass.
Everybody's okay.
John Lackey got his work in. Tyler Lyons looked very sharp for the most part. Did give up a couple of home runs, but you have to be pleased with what you saw from him.
So what we will do is send you back to St. Louis for a post-game show, then get set for Game 2. Stay with us on Fox Sports Midwest.